Imagine a vast medieval landscape, a knight standing alone atop a cliff, the wind tugging at his cloak. This knight is not merely a warrior of sword and shield. He is a man confronting the trials of life, love, and purpose. Across the ages, philosophers have asked the same questions that challenge him today. How does a man harness his inner strength? How does he channel his desires without losing himself? How does he rise above distraction, comfort, and fleeting pleasures? Plato, centuries ago, spoke of the ladder of love and virtue, a journey not for the faint-hearted. He argued that a true partner is not a shield or a prize, but a mirror, reflecting both potential and weakness. In this exploration, we will guide you through the knight's path, illuminating how discipline, clarity, and conscious energy can transform desire into power and relationships into instruments of growth. The knight stands in the courtyard of his castle, armor glinting under the pale sunlight, yet his eyes are fixed on the horizon. This moment is symbolic. Every man, like this knight, faces the battlefield of life long before he meets his partner, long before love becomes a force to test him. Plato would remind us the first challenge is self-mastery. The man who cannot govern his own mind, his own desires, will stumble when confronted with the complexities of relationships and purpose. Consider the modern distractions mirrored in the medieval allegory, the tavern of fleeting pleasures, the clamor of idle talk, the illusions of comfort. The knight must learn restraint, courage, and awareness. Each decision, from the choice of discipline and training to the allocation of his time, reflects the foundation of character. It is here that energy, the very essence of life and desire, is forged. Left unchecked, it disperses, leaving weakness, frustration, and mediocrity. Directed consciously, it becomes a force capable of shaping destiny. Plato described the ascent of love as a ladder, beginning with physical attraction, but extending to admiration of virtue, intellect, and ultimately shared purpose. Before a man can climb, he must build the strength to endure the climb. The knight cannot expect his partner to carry him. She is the mirror of his effort, the test of his ascent. She will amplify what is present within him, his discipline, his passion, his courage, or if neglected, his fear and stagnation. The battlefield of life is unforgiving. Trials arrive without warning. Doubt, fear, failure. How a man responds defines him. The knight in armor faces dragons of his own making, the distractions that seduce him, the doubts that weaken him, the desire that tempts him to abandon the path. Plato teaches that the soul must be prepared. To rise, one must embrace discomfort, confront weaknesses, and accept responsibility for every choice. Here, the foundation of masculinity is forged not in conquest of others, but in mastery of self. The knight's solitude in the courtyard mirrors the internal battle every man faces. The sword he wields is discipline. The shield he carries is clarity. The fire in his heart is energy. Without structure and purpose, this fire consumes. With focus, it illuminates. Every step, every decision, every thought is an exercise in ascent. An ascent that will determine whether he can meet the challenges of love, life, and desire with honor and strength. The princess stands upon the balcony, her gaze sweeping across the castle grounds, serene yet unyielding. In Plato's vision, she is not a prize to be won, not a shield to soften life's blows, but a mirror, reflecting the true potential within the knight. She reveals strengths he may not recognize and weaknesses he may wish to hide. In the medieval allegory, she is both challenge and inspiration, a presence that demands ascent rather than complacency. The man who underestimates her influence fails to see the truth. A partner who elevates is a force, not a comfort. She does not simply react to his actions. She shapes them. When he falters, she magnifies the error, not to punish, but to awaken awareness. When he strives, she amplifies his courage, turning his energy into something directed, purposeful, and transformative. Plato would remind us that love at its highest form is not indulgence. It is cultivation, the raising of the soul to its fullest expression. Consider the dynamics of desire. The knight's energy, untamed, is chaos. The princess channels it, transforming passion into focus, instinct into strategy, sensuality into power. She teaches him that true connection is not the absence of challenge, but the presence of truth. The illusions of comfort, idle flattery, passive approval cannot sustain growth. She demands alignment with purpose, integrity, and vision. To ignore this mirror is to blind oneself to one's own potential. Plato's ladder of love now becomes literal in its symbolism. Each rung represents courage over fear, discipline over indulgence, clarity over distraction, and purpose over apathy. The man who climbs understands that energy, sexual, emotional, mental, is not to be squandered, but channeled. Each step upward transforms raw desire into forceful action. Each reflection of the princess sharpens the mind, and each moment of hesitation is an opportunity to choose ascent over retreat. Consider the medieval imagery, the knight gripping the hilt of his sword, determination etched in every line of his armor as he looks toward the distant towers of the castle. The journey has been grueling, the trials unrelenting. He has faced fear, doubt, and distraction, yet it is precisely these challenges that have refined him. The princess is not there to soften his burdens. She is there to ensure he has become worthy of the ascent she reflects. She demands alignment with virtue, courage, and clarity of mind. She asks silently, "Will you rise or will you settle?" The modern man, much like the knight, faces the temptations of ease, distraction, and validation. Plato's wisdom applies across centuries. The partner who elevates does not provide comfort, but demands growth. She is not a crutch, but a forge. She is not a reward, but a reflection. She does not exist to satisfy idle desire, but to reveal what lies dormant, the potential for strength, wisdom, and mastery. As the knight climbs the final steps toward the castle, every heartbeat echoes with choice. He feels the fire of passion, the pull of fear, and the clarity of purpose intertwining. Plato's philosophy crystallizes in that moment. Life, love, and energy are tests of discipline, courage, and alignment. The knight must act. He must rise. The path is lonely. The fire is demanding, but the summit is transformative. The question remains, will you climb? Will you dare to be the man who recognizes, embraces, and grows alongside the force that demands his best self? Or will you cling to shadows of comfort, distraction, and mediocrity? The ladder is steep. The ascent is lonely. The fire is demanding. But those who rise will discover that the partner who elevates was never just about her. She was about him. About the man who dared to confront weakness, embrace discipline, and achieve greatness in her presence.